Keir Starmer's premiership is unravelling at breakneck speed. After just 5 months in the job, a bombshell Ipsos poll has branded him the worst Prime Minister in modern history, a title no leader ever wants to hold. With a satisfaction rating of -34, Starmer has officially fallen below every other PM in the past 5 decades, including notorious figures like Gordon Brown and Rishi Sunak. His critics are in full force, and the public's dissatisfaction is reaching fever pitch. As the fallout spreads, broadcaster Lizzie Cundy has added her voice to the growing wave of criticism, delivering a brutal assessment of Starmer's leadership.
Lizzie Cundy, can we trust him? I mean, look, he's talking about free movement of people for young people, which I don't necessarily disagree with, but you don't have to do it as a thing. It shouldn't be a deal. And also going back, allowing them to fish wherever they like.
No, I don't trust him, Nana. I don't trust him one bit. And as my mum used to say when I used to go out with a boy, look at the track record. And I'm looking at his track record, which has been full of lies. Let's just go back to 2023 when he was at the NFU conference for the farmers, saying that he would support them and be there for them, and blaming the Tories for not planning and all this. And then look what he's done with the inheritance tax.
But he might not. I mean, he might say that he is actually supporting them in what he's doing.
Well, you saw them protesting. Do you really think that? I certainly don't. I know farmers who are in tears about what's happening to their livelihoods. Will be ruined.
He probably wouldn't call that a lie, though, would he? He'd probably just say that that is how he's supporting them.
Well, that is
he wasn't clear about how he was going to do it.
I don't know one farmer that thinks he's supporting them. And now we look at their national insurance changes. They said, you know, Rachel Reeves said she wouldn't do. She said it, and we heard her say it. And now they've done it. And that's affecting...
But again, they're arguing that those aren't working people. They're not raising taxes on working people. The national insurance is on the employer, not the employee.
No, I think we all know that that was very carefully said and cleverly by them saying working people. We're all working people, I'm sorry. Even the pensioners are working people. They've worked, and look what they've done to the pensioners. There's another one. So they're freezing this winter, and I think it's absolutely disgraceful what they're doing, and they're going back on every word. So, in your question, no, I don't trust him, Nana, one bit.
The clip has gone viral, igniting debates nationwide about whether Starmer has what it takes to lead the country. The polling numbers are nothing short of catastrophic for Starmer. While 27% of voters are satisfied with his performance, an overwhelming 61% are dissatisfied, leaving him with a net rating of -34. For context, his predecessor Rishi Sunak hit -22 at the same point in his tenure, and even the beleaguered Gordon Brown managed -23. Comparisons to past political giants make Starmer's numbers look even worse. Tony Blair soared with a +57 satisfaction rating in 1997, and John Major held a solid +33 at the same stage in his leadership. This isn't just a personal crisis for Starmer, it's a party-wide emergency. Labour's once commanding lead in the polls is narrowing, and insiders are growing increasingly worried about the long-term damage. One senior Labour figure reportedly called the Ipsos numbers a wake-up call, warning that the party's strategy is failing to resonate with voters. Another party insider described the situation as potentially terminal if immediate action isn't taken to restore public trust. So, what's driving this collapse? For many, the answer lies in the economy. Public confidence in Labour's economic management has hit rock bottom, with only 15% of voters believing things will improve over the next year. Meanwhile, 65% think the economy will get worse, leaving Starmer with a disastrous net optimism score of -49, one of the worst economic ratings in modern history. Critics argue that Starmer and Shadow Chancellor Rachel Reeves have failed to deliver a clear economic vision, leaving voters anxious and directionless. The numbers tell a grim story, but the public sentiment is even more damning. Social media has exploded with criticism, with hashtags like #StarmerFailure and #Labour in Freefall trending for days. Voters accuse Starmer of being uncharismatic, indecisive, and too focused on appeasing critics rather than delivering bold solutions. Even Labour loyalists are beginning to lose faith, with many expressing frustration over what they see as a lack of transformative leadership. Lizzie Cundy's remarks during her recent media appearance have only poured fuel on the fire. Starmer is the kind of leader who promises everything and delivers nothing, she said. I don't trust him one bit. Her comments have been shared widely online, becoming a rallying cry for Starmer's critics. Public figures and commentators have weighed in, with some calling Cundy's remarks spot on and others accusing her of oversimplifying complex issues. Either way, the clip has added to the growing narrative that Starmer's leadership is in serious trouble. Amid this political chaos, Starmer's opponents are seizing the opportunity to capitalise on his misfortunes. Conservative MPs have been quick to mock his disastrous polling, with one senior Tory gleefully remarking, "It turns out Starmer's promises of a new era were just empty words." Liberal Democrat leader Ed Davey has also taken aim, accusing Starmer of failing to provide real leadership during an economic crisis. But the crisis isn't confined to Westminster. Across the country, Labour councillors and activists are sounding the alarm, warning that Starmer's unpopularity could jeopardise the party's chances in key battleground areas. Local campaigners report that voters are increasingly voicing doubts about Labour's ability to deliver on its promises, with many citing the lack of tangible progress on issues like housing, healthcare and education. Adding to Starmer's woes is a bizarre scandal making headlines nationwide, a lawsuit brought by a convicted terrorist against a historic pub. Khalid Barker, who spent 4 years in prison for disseminating jihadi propaganda, is suing the Saracen's Head, a Buckinghamshire pub with a 500-year history. Barker claims that the pub's sign, which depicts a bearded man of Arab or Turkish descent, is racist and xenophobic. The landlord of the pub, Robbie Hayes, has dismissed the lawsuit as a complete joke, vowing to fight back. "This pub's name and sign have been part of history for centuries," Hayes said. "We won't let one loudmouth erase our heritage." The case has sparked outrage, with many accusing Barker of exploiting cultural sensitivities for personal gain. One pubgoer summed up the public mood. "It's offensive to everyone's intelligence, not just Arabs or Turks. This is political correctness gone mad." The controversy has reignited debates about freedom of expression and cultural preservation. Supporters of the pub argue that the sign is a historical artifact that reflects the area's rich history, while critics contend that such symbols should be re-evaluated in light of modern sensibilities. Baker, meanwhile, has vowed to continue his campaign, targeting 30 other pubs with similar names. Meanwhile, Starmer faces yet another challenge in the form of Labour's controversial plans to overhaul local government. Deputy Prime Minister Angela Rayner has proposed replacing smaller district councils with larger unitary authorities, a move Labour argues will streamline services and save taxpayers' money. But the plan has sparked fierce opposition, with critics warning that it could undermine local democracy and create mega-councils that are too detached from the communities they serve. The District Councils Network has described the proposal as a recipe for turmoil, arguing that it will distract councils from their core responsibilities. Even some within Labour's ranks are voicing concerns, with MPs in rural constituencies warning that the plan could alienate voters who feel overlooked. Despite the backlash, Rayner has defended the proposal, insisting that it will empower local communities by giving them greater control over infrastructure and planning decisions. As Starmer's leadership faces mounting scrutiny, the question remains, can he weather this perfect storm, or is his time as Prime Minister already drawing to a close? With polling numbers in freefall, public trust evaporating, and scandals piling up, the stakes have never been higher for the Labour leader. For more explosive updates and scandal-filled stories, hit that subscribe button, like this post, and let us know in the comments. Is this the beginning of the end for Keir Starmer? Stay tuned, because this drama is far from over.